Welcome to the Trade Talk Showcase on Brownfield. I'm anchor reporter Megan Grebner. With us is USDA's Risk Management Agency Administrator, Martin Barbre. Martin, it's been 2020. It's been an interesting year, but that's not to be, I guess, not to be outdone by 2019.
Yeah,
as well.
You know, I think 2020 is trying to outdo 2019. You know, we had the tremendous amount of flooding in the spring of 2019, which led to very much record amounts of prevent plant across the country. Dealt with areas that, you know, we're dealing with now, areas in the floodplains where they had breached levees. Army Corps is getting a lot of those back in shape. We were able to do some flexibilities for producers on the race in those areas where we could get some things done. To start with, because of the massive amount of prevent plant in 2019, we put together a prevent plant task force of people from the crop insurance industry, agents, companies, some producer groups, and some of our folks from RMA. They sort of went through the whole entire prevent plant program and came up with some recommendations to sort of improve that. One of the things, just a few quickly, we're expanding the 1 in 4 requirement nationwide. Before that, next year, only producers in the prairie pothole region were under that requirement. We saw some areas of the country where maybe claims were getting out of hand, and producers that weren't having as many, say, claims as others were having to pay higher rates. So we moved this expansion of the 1 in 4 to nationwide. So basically a producer has to plant a crop and one out every 4 years to maintain eligibility for prevent plant. So that's one of the things we think that'll help rates across the country. A lot of other modifications. We've changed the way we calculate eligible acreages. We've changed. One of the big things that I thought was important is our previous rules. If you had a 80-acre field that you couldn't get planted in corn, you had prevent plant corn eligibility. So you thought you were going to collect 80 acres of prevent plant corn. If you pulled into that field and planted 50 feet of soybeans, our previous rules required that field now becomes a prevent plant soybean field. So we've taken that out of the equation. So if you want to try to plant a field that you couldn't get planted in corn, if you get a part of it planted, the rest of it's still eligible for your corn PP. I think that's probably the biggest thing we've done. Producers who were going into a new county could file an acreage intended to report that first year. If they say, I'm going to plant 500 acres of corn this first year, if they didn't get it planted, they could collect 500 acres of PP on that corn. Going into the next year, that would be the only eligibility they had. We've expanded that to 2 years. So you can do this acreage intention report for 2 years. Gives, especially people that rotate, gives them an opportunity to improve their coverages there. So, you know, we've, some of the things we wanted to do, we couldn't do, required budget things that we didn't have budget for. We wanted to bring back the +10 on the PP. We wanted to bring back the harvest price option on PP, but those are things that hopefully maybe in a few years Congress can find a way to fund them and bring them back to the program. So that's kind of the PP where we're at now. We had, surprisingly, had half as much PP this year as we had in 2019. So it's still, especially in that Dakotas area. So a lot going on there. I don't know what all you want to talk about. We've made some changes in our livestock products to improve. We've increased subsidies on the livestock products, the livestock risk protection, and the livestock gross margin products. Moved, those products were kind of an oddball in that when you bought that product, you had to pay the premium for it. We've moved that to the end of the endorsement period now to match a lot of our most of our other products. So producers don't have to come with that money up front. That's one of the big changes. The industry asks for a lot of these changes, and that's why we try to react to them.
I think it's interesting, a lot of changes made after 2019, and we saw those preventive plant issues. 2020, Mother Nature decided to wait until a little bit later in the year.
Yeah,
a little
different. Yeah, you know, we had some prevent plant, and then we got into this derecho thing that showed up in Iowa and across those areas. Hurricane season started. We've had more hurricanes than we've had in several years. We had just introduced a new hurricane insurance protection, a wind index product. We sold over 26,000 of those policies across the South and Eastern coastal areas. Those have been paying pretty well for producers. Then we had wildfires in the west that came earlier than we've normally seen them in the past. So we got into issues of not being able to get smoke taint tests done for grape growers. So that's just a lot of issues going on. And my team just worked so hard to keep everybody taken care of.
When you look at these types of protection programs and things that are vital for producers, what are some things that they need to think about when they're trying to manage risk and ultimately in the things that they can't control, like Mother Nature and weather?
Yeah, that's one thing that the crop insurance program provides producers in many of the crops. Now we're still adding crops every year, but most of the crops, major crops across the country, producers just need to get with their agent. Agents understand these policies and the protections that they give. They have options of buying endorsements as well that are private endorsements. But mainly here's how I look at it as a farmer. I want to insure and protect the revenue I need to make sure I can stay in business the next year. And I think that's what our products are designed to do, and that's how producers should be using them.
What are some things for folks who need a reminder for deadlines and to make those meetings? Is it something that we need to be thinking about as we're planning for 2021 currently?
Yeah, we have sales closing dates for different things going on across the year, but mostly for the spring crops, we start down in Texas with a January 28th sales closing date that rolls up into the big one of March 15th, which is usually most of our spring areas across the country. Those spring crops have that sales closing date. One of the things that's new is a product called ECO, Enhanced Coverage Option. We've had the supplemental coverage option in the past that was available to cover a certain band, but that band also interacted with the ARC program at FSA. So producers that were signed up in the ARC program at FSA couldn't have the supplemental coverage option. ECO covers the band above that, so it doesn't interact with ARC. So producers can sign up at FSA and have this new ECO program. It's just coming out. We're getting data out, information out as fast as we can. It'll have a sales closing date the same as your underlying MPCI policy, but a lot of interest in that. We had several AIPs that pushed us to get this product out this year. And so I think that's something that's really going to help people have an option of insuring that deductible that everyone worries about not being able to cover.
Martin, it's always great to see you, and your insight is always much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Megan. It's great to be here, and thanks for all you guys do. Without the ag broadcasters, I don't think we could get our word out across the country as good as we do.
Thanks, Martin. Have a great day.
All right. Thank you.
I'm Megan Grebner for Brownfield.